Ramo Ramo Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 He Jayo Radhe Jayo Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohana Jayo Radhe Jayo Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohana Jayo Radhe Jayo Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohana Jayo Radhe Jayo Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan Jayo Radhe Jayo Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohana Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan He Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ramo Ramo Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Jai 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 Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jai Giri Varadhari, Jai Giri Varadhari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jai Giri Varadhari, Jai Giri Varadhari. Jai Giri Varadhari, Jai Giri Varadhari. Jaya Yasodanandana, Jai Brajajana Ranjana, Jai Brajajana Ranjana. Jaya Yasoda Nandana, Jai Brajajana Ranjana, Jai Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachare, Jai Kunja Bihari. Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachare, Jai Kunja Bihari. Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachare, Jai Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Stotrakse Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhai Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki ISKCON Vibhita Sansthapakarya Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtodrakse Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्रील हरदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासति गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड श्री गिरिगोवर्धन की ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की गंगामाई जमुनामाई की भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की कलयुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसलेशनल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So today we will speak on the three aspects of love. Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, Mamay Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. The jivas are my parts and parcels, and they are engaged in a relationship of eternal love. So, what are the three elements of love? First, we need to appreciate. Without appreciation, there cannot be any loving relationship. When Krishna is in Vrindavan and is taking his cowherd boys on a tour up Braj, as they are walking through the forests of Vrindavan, Krishna points to the trees and glorifies the trees and says, Poshyodaitan Mahabhagan Parasyaikanта Jivitan Vatavarsha Atapahiman Sahanto Varayantina. Just see the trees of Vrindavan Brajbhumi. Parasya Aikanta Jivitan. They have dedicated themselves simply for serving others. Vata Varsha Atapahiman Sahanto. The trees go through difficulties, challenges, but they protect others from rain, from hailstorm, from heat. And what do the trees provide to others? Patra, Pushpa, Phalachaya, Moola, Valkaladharubhi. They give flowers, fruits, roots, bark. They provide shade. The trees are constantly giving without considering what they are receiving in return. So this is the nature of the trees, to simply serve selflessly. So Krishna concludes this series by saying, people in this world want to be successful. What is the definition of success from my perspective? What is the success in one's life, in one's education, in one's career, in one's family relationships? What is the paradigm of success? What is the benchmark of success from my perspective, from Krishna's perspective? So Krishna says, Etavat janma safalyam dehinam iha dehishu pranirarthair dhya vacha shreyah acharanam sada. Krishna says, Etavat janma safalyam. At the end of life, if you have to calculate what is my success, then from Krishna's perspective he says, Pranair arthair dhiya vacha shreya. One who has served others with one's life, pranair, arthair with wealth, dhiya with intelligence, vacha with words. To the extent one has served others selflessly, to that extent, that person's life is successful in my eyes, whatever may be the perspective of people of this world. But from Krishna's point of view, the core principle of success is service without selfish consideration. Pranair arthair dhiya vacha shreya acharanam sada. So that is the paradigm which Krishna is expressing and presenting. And therefore, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is spreading the Krishna consciousness movement, he is also presenting this same paradigm that the success of human form of life is when we are able to serve without selfishness. Pragada premer ei swabhava achar nij dukha bigna dirano kore bichar. In every relationship there is scarcity, impediment, discomfort, unhappiness. But in spite of that, when the principle of service continues, that is known as love. And so, Sripad Madhavendra Puri is glorified as the paradigm of love, one who represents such selfless service. Bahu parishrama chandano remuna anila ananda badila mane dukkhana gonila. With great effort and great difficulty, he brought the chandan to Remuna. But when one puts lot of effort, one keeps track of all the difficulties one has gone through. Ananda Padila Mane, his ecstasy increased. Dukkhana Ganila, he did not calculate and keep track of the challenges he has gone through, the difficulties he has gone through. Dukkhana Ganila, there was no calculation, there was no keeping account of the challenges and difficulties and the pain one has gone through. To keep an account of personal pain while engaging in service is a business calculation. And therefore, that is a different account. That's a business account. It cannot be considered within the account of love. And here, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is seeing the trees and acknowledging the trees and appreciating the trees for their selfless service. This is Krishna's love, display of love, where the most insignificant of all, the trees, are being appreciated. Because Krishna is able to see. We pass by trees every day. Thousands of trees we see. But we are so self-absorbed that we are not able to see their qualities. But Krishna is able to appreciate the selflessness displayed by the trees genuinely. And this was the point of contention between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. The Pandavas wanted to serve Krishna selflessly. And the Kauravas, led by Duryodhan, were totally selfish in their approach. Many times people say, somebody was arguing with me, you people are always criticizing Duryodhan. He was a good administrator. Why you never glorify him at all? So I said, tell me, in your home, have you kept anybody's name Duryodhan? And do you think you will keep any of your future generations' children's name Duryodhan? Or will you keep anybody's name Dushasan? Why don't you call your kids Dushu? He said, no. How can we keep Duryodhan name? I said, what is the problem? He was a good administrator, no? He says, no, that is true. But kuch to gadbad tha. There was some problem. The problem was he had the skill but not the character. And therefore it is said, Duryodhan means one who's always fighting for the wrong cause. He's constantly engaged in fighting, but for the wrong cause. What is the wrong cause? Preserving his false ego was his priority. The priority was maintaining my status at any cost. Nobody can be above me. I have to be at the very top. Driven by ego, Duryodhan was constantly obsessed only with this thought. Nobody else should get the credit. Nobody should be above me. And he was so obsessed that even in the peak of summer, Duryodhan would not allow anybody to carry an umbrella above his head. His logic was, how can anything be above me, including umbrella? So that was his obsession. So therefore, Duryodhan means one who is fighting for the wrong cause. And when someone has this kind of ego, he cannot appreciate others. So Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but he has so much of humility, he is able to appreciate the trees. So Duryodhan one time called Sahadev, and he told Sahadev that the battle is about to begin. But I have heard that, Sahadev, you are an expert astrologer. You can share with us some formula by which the Kauravas will win for sure. Please tell us. So Sahadev said, if anybody performs the Kala Bali Yagya on Amavasya day, success is guaranteed. Next day was Amavas. So Duryodhan was in ecstasy that he has got now the secret. Krishna became nervous. And Krishna started, internally chastising Sahadev. That why the Pandavas always create blunders in spite of all my best efforts. So Krishna wanted to protect the Pandavas. Immediately he called all the different Brahmins there. Went to the bank of Yamuna and started doing the Pinddan and Tarpan for the Pitris, for the forefathers, which is done on Amavas day. But Krishna started doing that puja one day before Amavas. So the Pandits were a little bewildered. And Pandits started talking to each other. Amavas is tomorrow. Why is Krishna doing this Pitri Tarpan today? Another Pandit said, he is Krishna, he can do whatever he wants. Third Pandit said, Dakshina is going to come. Why you are cribbing so much? Just go along. So, when this was discussed, at that point, the Pandits came together and the puja began. As the puja was going on, two people were a little bewildered. Surya and Chandra. So, Surya looked at Chandra and said, when is Amavas? Chandra said, as per my calculation, it is tomorrow. Surya said, but look at Krishna, he is doing the Pitri Tarpan today. So Chandra said, maybe sometimes he also makes mistake. He must not have updated his software. There must be some calculation mistake. But we can always go and give him a feedback. Sometimes big people also make mistakes. So Surya and Chandra came down, called Krishna aside. Said, we have to tell you something in private. So Krishna came, what is the matter? Surya and Chandra looked at Krishna and said, my dear Lord, The Amavasya is tomorrow. I think by mistake you are thinking it is today and you are performing this Pitri Tarpan. Krishna said, when Surya and Chandra stand in straight line, that day is Amavas. So you are standing in front of me in straight line. Today is Amavas. Keep standing here. I am calling the Pandavas and they will do the Kalabali Yagya now. The Pandavas came, did the Kalabali Yagya, and then next day Duryodhan was doing the Kalabali Yagya as per the calendar, not knowing that Krishna has already fixed the match. One day before it is over. So Krishna would intervene and protect the Pandavas in so many different ways because the Pandavas were humble and dependent on Krishna. So therefore, Krishna also reached out and supported the Pandavas in many difficult situations. So that's the first principle of loving relationship, that there has to be appreciation for what the others are doing and what the others are contributing. So Krishna is appreciating the most humble trees of Vrindavan. Then the second principle of the art of love is respect. There cannot be any loving relationship without respect. And what is the meaning of respect? When Sudamaji comes to Dwarka, Krishna is welcoming Sudamaji and keeping him on the beautiful asan of Dwarka. And then Rukmini Devi is holding Sudamaji's, Krishna is holding Sudamaji's feet, Rukmini Devi is holding chamar and offering chamar to Krishna. And all the Dwarka Vasis are bewildered. What is going on? Kuchailam malinam kshamam dvijam dhamani santatam devi paricharat sakshat chamara bhyajanena vai. Are Sudamaji is emaciated. All of his veins can be seen. Sudamaji is an embodiment of poverty. But in spite of such poverty-stricken condition, Krishna is respecting him. He is being offered the welcome of a king. Shushrushaya paramaya padasamvahanadibhi pujito devadevena vipradevena devavat. Krishna respected Sudama just like the demigods. And Sudama is overwhelmed that how Krishna is offering me so much of respect. And as Sudama is coming back, Krishna did not give him anything. He just gave him prasad, allowed him to stay at night, and gave him tons of respect. No donation. Sudama was going back, but he was in ecstasy. Why? Because he received the most important ingredient which satisfies us in a relationship. What is that? He gave him respectful love. When we offer love with respect, that touches the heart. And therefore Sudama was completely satisfied. Shvobhute vishvabhavena swasukhe nabhivandita jagamasvalayam tata patham anuvrajjanandita. As he was going, that respect which was given by Krishna gave him the satisfaction. So many times we think that things will give satisfaction. But when we offer Love with respect. That touches the heart. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada, when he was preaching Krishna consciousness, he is coming from Radha Damodar temple, Vrindavan, Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharya. But the people who were connecting with Srila Prabhupada were very young, coming from all kinds of, backgrounds of sense gratification. But Srila Prabhupada offered them these two things, love and respect. And they offered themselves to serve Krishna in a way which has never been seen in history of the Vaishnava Parampara. Shyam Sundar Prabhu tells the story. 1969, he came to Srila Prabhupada saying that because of some crime I have done in the past, I have to go to the jail. And he was thinking Prabhupada will judge him, reject him, and tell him, get lost, get out of ISKCON. You are going to jail, we don't want criminals in ISKCON, get out. That's what he thought. So Prabhupada, I'll have to go to jail. Prabhupada said, Krishna was born in jail. So immediately, he diffused the situation. So going to jail means, it's not a very respectable situation, right? I do lots of programs in jails, in Pune, in other places. So I was giving a talk in the Yerawada jail in Pune. The speciality of Yerawada jail is that you have to be minimum qualification murder to be there. So 500 prisoners were sitting. One thing I love about jail programs is audience is guaranteed. No advertisement required. They open the cell, bring them, make them sit. And they cannot get up also. And the police is on all sides providing support to make sure that the audience is awake. So as I gave the lecture, then I asked for questions. One prisoner raised his hand and said, I have a question. I said, ask. He said, I want to come on the stage and ask the question. It was very dramatic. I turned to the Assistant Commissioner of Police Prisons who was standing next to me and said, hey, who is he? He whispered in my ear, he has committed 12 murders. I said, am I going to be 13th? Why does he want to come on the stage? He says, no, let him come, no problem. He came on the stage and then he asked a very philosophical question, which was connected to the chanting of the Mahamantra, quoting the Puranas, prisoner. And the audience was like clapping like anything, that there is a Pandit amongst us also. So then after his question, I gave the answer, then I called him and I asked him, at such a young age, how come you are in this jail? How do you committed so much crime? He said, when I get overwhelmed with anger, there is a blind spot. My intelligence, my discrimination is finished. I can't do anything. But in the jail, I have been given opportunity to perform some service. And the service I have been given is to translate books into Braille language for the blind. And the book I am currently translating is Bhagavad Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada. So he became instrumental in starting a program within jail. And we were having a regular satsang program there. So jail is not a respectable place. But when Shyam Sundar Prabhu said, I am going to jail, then Prabhupada asked him, what crime? He said, Prabhupada, I was dealing with drugs. Prabhupada said, oh, me too. I was running Prayag pharmacy. Then Prabhupada said, how long you will go? He said, maybe 3-4 years. Prabhupada said, don't worry, just keep chanting, you will come out. So Shyam Sundar Prabhu, 69, if he had been inside, he would have been inside till 73. So no Beatles, no George Harrison, no Cross Maidan, nothing would have happened if things had followed the actual course. But in 3 months, the jail warden came and gave his release orders. And even he was surprised. He said, this was a sentence for 4 years. How I am being released in 4 months? The warden said, don't ask me. I simply have the orders to execute. So then he came out, and then he was fired up and he went to London and he preached to the Beatles. And then he came to India, and then he assisted Srila Prabhupada in establishing the Cross Maidan festival. The festival in which Radhanath Swami, Loknath Swami both got connected to ISKCON. So as part of organizing, as he was, the main organizer, he had lots of tasks to do. He had borrowed a car from one of the life members for the sake of logistics. But this was the first time he was driving in India. And very soon he realized driving in India means you need more skills than just having a license. You need mystic powers also. The test of Tesla will be in India. So he was driving to Kalbadevi market, and as he was driving, suddenly the car hit one, somebody who was crossing. And the guy fell on the ground. He screeched on the brakes. And public surrounded the car. And Shyam Sundar Prabhu saw people all around, looking inside the car. He got nervous. He picked up his bead bag, started chanting. Because he had heard that mob in India, they burned the car. But then he saw, to his utter surprise, the public jumped on the guy who was hit and fell on the ground, and they started beating him. So Shyam Sundar Prabhu got bewildered. He said, I am the one who made the mistake. Why are they beating him? Then he thought, maybe in India they begin from there. Then they will come to me. And then after some time the crowd moved aside, told him, you go ahead. So he was totally bewildered. He pulled the window down and said, but I just want to clarify, he was innocent. I made the mistake. Why did you beat him? They said, Hare, you are dressed like a Vaishnava, Krishna devotee. How dare he disturb a Krishna devotee? Then Shyam Sundar realized, oh my God, even if you are dressed like a devotee, the Vedic Sanatan Dharma culture is such that so much respect is given. So how much more it is important responsibility to live as per that. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada engaged devotees with no previous devotional background or even educational background. But he offered them responsibility, which was a symptom of his respect for them. Prabhupada was in Jaipur, and 18 and 19-year-old girls, two of them, Kaushalya Devi and one more, they organized the Pandal program. It was a grand success. Prabhupada was very happy. Young girls from America. And then after that, Prabhupada was sitting with some, wealthy businessmen of Jaipur, discussing about how well the program was organized. One of the businessmen made a comment, Swamiji, your American disciples, they may know how to chant and sing Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. That is easy. But they don't know any philosophy. Prabhupada said, who says? He said, no, it looks like that. They are only singing, jumping, dancing, okay. Philosophy, zero. Prabhupada pointed to Kaushalya Devi who was standing there. Prabhupada said, this girl, she knows all the Upanishads. And without giving any chance to Kaushalya, Prabhupada turned to her and said, chant the Upanishads. Recite all the Upanishads. So she knew only 5 shlokas of Ishopanishad. But Prabhupada did not even give her a chance to defend or speak anything. As soon as Prabhupada said, she started chanting. The first verse, second verse, third verse. When she reached the 4th verse, she was getting nervous. What will happen beyond verse 5? Because Prabhupada has already branded her, knows all the Upanishad. And as soon as she completed the 5th verse, Prabhupada said, Bas, that means you know everything. So one of the businessmen said, Swamiji, she chanted the verses, she chanted the Sanskrit shlokas, but her pronunciation was not proper. Prabhupada said, her renunciation is perfect. Because she has come all the way from America, dedicating her life to spread the mission of Sanatana Dharma. So Prabhupada offered genuine respect, offered responsibilities, allowed people to handle tangible responsibilities. And in this way, the second element of loving relationship is respect. The third aspect of a loving relationship is tolerance. Pumsam shlagya tamam manye dandam arhatamarpitam yam namata pita brata suhrdascha dishanti. Bali Maharaj says, my dear Lord, I offered everything to you, still you punished me like this. You are the supreme personality of punishment. Nobody ever has punished his dependent like this. And so Krishna punished Bali Maharaj by taking away everything. So when you see Sudama pastime and Bali Maharaj pastime, it may appear exactly opposite. People love Sudama pastime. Rags to riches story. सुदामा क्या थे? कंगाल, कुछ नहीं था. From Rodpati to Karodpati. He had nothing, comes to Krishna, prays to Krishna. Krishna makes him a billionaire. Like, wow, where is the nearest Krishna temple? Let me go there and pray to Krishna. So Sudama pastime is energizing. But you hear Bali Maharaj pastime, Krishna takes away everything. Say, Ore Bapre, where is the Shiva temple? Krishna seems dangerous. But Acharyas explain why Krishna gave so much to Sudama and made him a billionaire. Because Sudama had one problem. He had pride. Pride in what? Pride in his poverty. Sudama, as part of his being poverty stricken, had one pride. What? I am the poorest. Nobody is poorer than me. Pride can come in multiple flavors. This was Sudama's flavor of pride. I am the number one poor. Nothing can shake me. Nobody can do anything to me. So Krishna detected that. And Krishna thought, I have to make him humble. How? By making him wealthy. By making him wealthy, I'll break his pride in his poverty. So now you may think, let me also pray to Krishna to make me humble like that. But Krishna will make you humble as per what is required. And then you have to tolerate that. So one disciple, Prabhupada, wanted to make him president. He didn't want to be president. So he wrote a whole list of reasons why he cannot be president, put it in his pocket, came to Prabhupada. And then he looked at Prabhupada, said, Prabhupada, any seva for me? Prabhupada said, yeah, I've been thinking for a long time to give you some seva. He was ready. That now Prabhupada will tell me to become president. I'll take out this sheet. It has the whole list systematically written. Logical reasons why I cannot accept this role. So he said, yes, Srila Prabhupada. What is the seva? Prabhupada said, take sannyas. He got bewildered. Prabhupada, what? Prabhupada said, yes, take sannyas. He says, but Prabhupada, I got a young son. Prabhupada said, don't worry, Krishna will take care. But Prabhupada, my senses are not in control. Prabhupada said, take sannyas. Automatically it will come. But Prabhupada, I can't just do that. I am telling you, just try. He got so bewildered. He said, Prabhupada, I am willing to do anything, but I will not take sannyas. Prabhupada said, become president. So, sometimes situations are such, we have to tolerate. And greatest devotees who have attained the highest in success and accomplished in relationship with Krishna are put through situations where they have to tolerate. And so the Bali Maharaj episode shows Bali Maharaj is willing to go through a lot so that Krishna is demonstrating the principle of tolerance through Bali Maharaj. So that is the art of love. A for appreciation, R for respect, and T for tolerance. And this is what the modern education system lacks. The modern education system is training us in how to manipulate circumstances, which has its limits, which is required, but it has its limits. So when you reach the limits of that, what do? That's where spiritual education begins. Because modern education is obsessed with making you successful. Success is to get what you like, but happiness is to like what you get. So therefore, if the whole education system is speaking only about success, 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 what about those who fail? So therefore, we come into the picture. We help people cope with failure. Therefore, when there is material education along with spiritual education, then the experience is complete. You can do your best, try to accomplish success, and due to various reasons, when things do not match up the way you expect, you have the necessary knowledge, skills, and support system to cope with change in the circumstances because of your expanded consciousness. Because circumstances are not in your control, consciousness is within your full control. We have limited control over circumstances, but unlimited control over our consciousness. That's the basis for spiritual education. So as we are wishing Sundari as she enters into her college education, we are blessing her to be on the path of both success and happiness. And know that where the university education ends, Gita begins, the Bhagavatam begins, and the spiritual education is the foundation for all of that. So therefore, all the children in the community should be encouraged to take shelter of not only their material education, but along with that, the necessary training required for creating the good character of spiritual education should be provided. That's where Krishna consciousness comes into the picture. The temples and the communities come into the picture and provide that support system. So, on behalf of all the assembled devotees, we offer you heartfelt blessings for a bright future in your personal life, professional life, and devotional life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So, over to you, Shyam. Anyone has any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for a wonderful lecture. I had a question about respect. So when in a relationship, sometimes we encounter there is a lack or minimal respect. And as a Vaishnava, we've been taught to not to criticize others, right? So what practical strategies or what would you recommend one should do at that time? Should we and it's difficult to discontinue the relationship as well,
Yeah.
right?
So Karna was attacking Yudhishthir Maharaj in a big way, and Yudhishthir got really bewildered. So his chariot driver took Yudhishthir back. Arjuna came on the battlefield. He was searching where Yudhishthir, where he couldn't find. He thought, oh, maybe Yudhishthir is killed or something. So Arjuna was concerned and he took his chariot, told Krishna, take the chariot back to our camp. And then Arjuna came and saw, oh, Yudhishthir is safe. Yudhishthir looked at Arjuna and said, Arjun, you must have killed Karna and come, right? Arjuna said, no. I abandoned the battlefield, came searching for you. Yudhishthir said, what kind of a warrior are you? How could you abandon the battlefield without killing the biggest enemy? You are a useless fellow. You are useless, your Gandiva is useless, you are coward number one. So when Yudhishthir spoke like that, Arjuna became angry. He picked up his Gandiva, placed the arrow on that, pointed the arrow at Yudhishthir, turned to Krishna and said, I have taken a vow, anybody criticizes my Gandiva, I will kill him. Krishna said, I spoke the Gita to kill Duryodhan, not him. He said, what to do? I have taken vow. Krishna said, there are two ways of killing as per Shastra. Don't you know? Arjuna said, no. Krishna said, one way is you kill with weapons. Second is you criticize the person. Arjuna kept the bow and arrow down, started criticizing Yudhishthir left, right and center. He must have recorded some data in the mind for a long time. He downloaded everything. Then he felt so bad, he fell at Yudhishthir's feet and started crying, sobbing that you are my worshipable elder brother. I spoke so ill about you, I feel so guilty. Suddenly Arjuna got up full of emotion, took up his sword, placed the sword on his own neck, looked at Krishna and said, I have committed great crime in criticizing Yudhishthir, I will kill myself. And Krishna thought, my God, this guy is too much. How many Gitas I have to speak, I don't know. So Krishna said, Arjuna, don't you know as per Shastra, there are two ways of killing oneself. Arjuna said, yeah, how many secrets you keep? What are the two ways? Krishna said, one way of killing yourself is with weapons. Second way of killing yourself is glorifying yourself. Self-glorification is equal to suicide. You don't know? Arjuna said, no. He kept the sword aside, started glorifying himself. What all he had done, how the other brothers were useless. He was the main guy. He went on, speaking. And then finally Krishna stopped him, said, enough. So Krishna had to intervene. So it was not that the Pandavas had it rosy all through. Their relationships also went through ups and downs and challenges. Yudhishthir made the blunder of putting everybody on stake and losing the entire kingdom. Even the insult of Draupadi, he was only responsible. But after they went to the forest, the five of them went together. The brothers could have easily said, Bhima could have said, I am not going into the same forest this guy is going. Because I don't know what next he is going to do in the forest. So interesting thing is, after the debacle, the responsibility of which was of Yudhishthir, still the other four were with him in the forest. And number two, Yudhishthir didn't take security guards to protect himself from in case Bhima attacks in the forest out of anger. And after the victory in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Yudhishthir only was made the king. So therefore, Krishna spent more time with the Pandavas because, not because of their skill, but their ability to forgive and tolerate each other and keep Krishna's will above all their petty differences. Okay? To see the bigger picture. That's the only way. You cannot have a relationship without the ability to endlessly forgive. Any other question? Yes.
Hearsay. I have
Yeah.
no
Okay.
basis for this. Uh, there are people who criticize Krishna saying, you spent more time with Pandavas than with your own family. That's why they all fought each other and they died. If you spent more time with your children and your family, maybe they would have survived.
Okay.
You know, how do we, understand the Leela in this?
You cannot understand the Leela. Krishna spent time with the Pandavas, but then the result of spending time with Pandavas also was all the children of Pandavas were killed by Ashwatthama. Abhimanyu was also killed. So therefore, as far as Krishna spending time and family being protected, there doesn't seem to be much connection. But Krishna spent more time with the Pandavas because the Pandavas were willing to adjust their mutual differences in the service of Krishna. So that is something which the Lord holds very dear. How to cooperate and collaborate. That becomes the foundation for him to actually express his blessings and love towards his devotees. Okay? Okay, so now we'll have Kirtan.
We'll have, this is the Kirtan Center, so it's very apt to have Kirtan now after the class, and of course we'll all pray through the chanting of the holy names and request everybody to bless Sundari.
और भी कुछ बोलो.
Okay.
अरे कीर्तन के पहले बोलो तभी तो प्रे करेंगे ना.
Okay.
कीर्तन में.
So again, key milestone in our lives. Many of you have been part in this journey in raising Sundari. Many of you know her since she was born, few years old, and now she's finished her 12th and getting ready to go to college away from home. So it's a key milestone, and any important episode in our life cannot be successful, we cannot get happiness without the blessings of devotees. So we felt that this would be such a wonderful way to bless Sundari in Prabhuji's presence, him blessing her, and then all of you, devotees, friends, community members coming together. Um, so of course, Sundari has been an amazing child. Uh, she spent about 7, 8 years in New Vrindavan. And at New Vrindavan, she had the opportunity to get association of so many senior Prabhupada disciples, sannyasis, right, advanced Vaishnavas. She grew up playing in the temple of Sri Sri Radha Vrindavan Chandra. So she has an amazing foundation. And of course, growing up here, moving to Pittsburgh, she desired that she wants to worship Radha and Krishna. So Radha and Krishna appeared to give her opportunity to serve. One of the things about Sundari is that when we would drive from New Vrindavan to Pittsburgh, literally every weekend to do programs here, she, right from probably when she was, I think, 2 or 3 months old, she literally attended all the programs every single Sunday, every single weekend. She would come in the car, she would never cry, never had any car seat issues or all those issues, and patiently she tolerated, and till now she has been a part of our service team, preaching team. So sometimes actually I wonder, how many things actually she could have cried for, right? Or she could have resisted. But she did not, right? So somehow Krishna's mercy on her, that she has had the wonderful opportunity to experience the wonderful association, the wonderful process of Krishna consciousness. In fact, when she was born, Maharaj actually told us, Maharaj said that Sri Sri Radha Vrindavan Chandra have placed their child under your care. So she's child of Radha Vrindavan Chandra, and of course we all are children of Radha Vrindavan Chandra. But again, a very key milestone, and by the blessings of devotees, she will be able to take on this journey and be successful in her academic learning and her wholesome growth as a college student and then a professional. So lot to talk. Actually, she didn't want to do the graduation. She was like, I really don't want to do the graduation. I don't want that. I'm okay. Right. So I said, no. We have to get blessings of devotees. Right. So she was like, yeah, you can tell devotees to come home and give blessings. Right. I think a few days back, Chandramauli Maharaj was here, and then, so she was like, Papa, this is good. Maharaj came, he gave his blessings, and, why don't we do that? So I said, no, the real way of actually taking blessings is to serve devotees and, please them, and then they give blessings. So even though she didn't want, but, this is the amazing way where actually she can receive all of your blessings. And so we want to keep the focus on really chanting and praying, right? In fact, because the real way of really blessing anyone is praying for them, right? Chanting the holy names, right? And praying to Krishna for anyone who's dear to us is the real way actually, because only Krishna can bless, right? And when devotees pray to Krishna, then Krishna blesses. So that's what we wanted to keep, the focus as really hearing from Prabhuji and It's amazing the way Prabhuji explained uh, the real way to be successful and happy. Uh, Probably the most apt 45-minute foundational lecture for Sundari and for all of us, right? So couldn't be any better than this, and a lot can be spoken, lot can be shared, uh, right? But I would actually say that many of you have been a part in raising Sundari, and we're just extremely grateful to all of you for all that you've done for Sundari so far. And now, we please continue to do that, right? Because we don't know what we're doing, right? We just come to the program, she comes to the programs, and something happens. So request each and every one of you to please continue to take care of her, continue to bless her. So now this kirtan, we will actually make it as a prayer to Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga and Radha Krishna, that they shower their blessings upon Sundari, so that as she enters into the college environment, the wild west, as they say, right? Which we all, probably none of us have been to those environments, but we've heard so many things. But as she enters, she's able to um, uh, deal with it in a way and grow as a wholesome person, right? Keep up her values and stay focused on the goals that she wants to achieve. So of course, many times people say, don't worry, Prabhuji, Sundari is a good girl, right? She won't have any problem, right? Which of course, will happen, but most importantly, we continue to pray, and in all walks of life, right? We all need prayers of each other. So request everybody to please enthusiastically participate in the kirtan and as a prayer. Thank you.
उसको तो थोड़ा दो शब्द बोल. अरे खड़े हो जा, stand up.
Yeah, okay.
Ask blessings.
Yes, thank you. Oh God. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming today. I feel very special that every one of you are here to bless me for my new chapter in life, and hopefully I can study well. I can continue down the path of bhakti and do both of them simultaneously very nicely, so that I'm not stressed by either one of them. And again, please bless me so that I can do well in college. Yes.
Hari Bol.
Thank you.
Radhika Sundari, you want to say something? No? Okay. All right. So we'll start Kirtan now, and then after Kirtan, we have Prashadam. So please wait.
Hare
Rama?
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. बहुत स्लो हो गया, मेरे साथ चलो. राम राम हरे हरे, हरे Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. सब बोलिए। Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare सब बोलिए कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे सब बोलिए हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Boli Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Ramo Ramo Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की, समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की, इस्कॉन पिट्सबर्ग यात्रा की, जय गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Namaste Naraya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahaladadayine. Prahaladadayine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. 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 Shilatankhanakhalaye. He Shilatankhanakhalaye. Ito Narsingha Parato Narsingha. Ito Narsingha Parato Narsingha. Ito Narsingha Parato Narsingha. Ito Narsingha Parato Narsingha. Yato yato yami tato Narsingha. Yato yato yami tato Narsingha. Bahe Narsingha Hridaye Narsingha. Bahe Narsingha Hridaye Narsingha. Bahe Narsingha Hridaye Narsingha. Bahe Narsingha Hridaye Narsingha. Narasimham Adin Sharanam Prapadye. Narasimham Adin Sharanam Prapadye. Tava Karakamala Nakham Adbhuta Shringa Dalitam Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narhari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलित हिरण्यकशिपु तनु भृंगाम केशवद्रिता नरहरि रूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवता नररूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश जय विघ्न विनाशक लक्ष्मी नरसिंह देव भगवान की भक्तराज प्रहलाद महाराज की समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की हरे कृष्णा. So I very much like this ambience of the Kirtan hall, which reminds me of 26 Second Avenue. If you have been to New York, it's almost much smaller than this, but the ambience with the glass storefront and everything is like the 26 Second Avenue, and the sound system is also fantastic. So congratulations to the team, and of course we have great mridang player accompanying. So altogether it was an ecstatic experience in the Kirtan. What do you call that? Kirtan? Krishna Kirtan. Krishna Kirtan Center. So I very much enjoyed the experience at Krishna Kirtan Center at Pittsburgh. Haribol.
So